Hello and welcome to This and That. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. Hi.
How are you, Jonathan?
I'm coming to you live from Oklahoma. Well, I guess it's not
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
not just a musical anymore. Now it's also part of the Miss America pageant. So I've
where
been
in
judging the Miss
Oklahoma
America
are
pageant
you?
all week. And the connections between the pageant world and skating are profound.
Well,
They are very similar.
so during the Aunt Joyce days, I met Greg and Galen, who are our skating supporters, and they... Okay, so let me understand this correctly. They're in Miss Georgia, but they like raise pageants up, like they're kind of like the official, unofficial gay coaches of the. So what happens? You win Miss Georgia, then you go to their living room, and basically they prepare you for Miss America. And then they also.
Okay, so when you are, let's say, Miss Georgia or Miss Oklahoma, you have that job for the whole year.
Yeah.
But the first thing is that you represent your state at the Miss America pageant, like the Olympics, for example. But then if you come back, everyone but the girl who won Miss America now goes back to their home state and keeps that state title. And it's a full salaried
For a
position
year.
all year where you're doing public speaking and that kind of stuff. But so Greg runs the competition in Georgia and helps prepare the Miss Georgia for.
Well, I'm
for
very
Miss.
angry with them.
Oh, because you want to be in? You'd be
Well,
so mean.
Here's the. So would you. Like, this is what's so funny is that like you're just as mean as I am. You just like you're like brighter about it. Like it's in a different way, like.
Yeah, if you're just reading a transcript, actually.
Like actually.
Yeah.
Like you're warmer, but you're like bitchier about the music choices. Like there's a talent competition there, and I don't think you're nice about it.
I
if
am
they
not.
sing.
No.
When they
And that's-
sing, I feel like you deduct points.
Well, but no, it's a range. It's a range, and sometimes it's really interesting, and this happens with skating also, when you you come from a knowledgeable background in one aspect of it, but not necessarily in the other aspect of it. So some people, you wonder, how are we listening to the same thing? Because I think something is so amazing. The person next to me doesn't get it. The person next to me thinks something is amazing, and I'm completely offended, and I just want to like scratch my eyes out. So
Did you know that they also had Elkin judge a pageant too?
Elkin judged the Miss USA pageant, which does not have talent or 10-minute interviews. They're like very.
How did you even know what he judged? So he was.
I know everything.
So Elkin has like spreadsheets. We once watched Miss World with him, and he's a member of like the gay Tino community, and like.
Do you mean Miss Universe?
Yes, sorry, Miss Universe. Whatever. All I know is like
The USA
he would be like, "Oh, this one's so good," and I'm like, "What makes them good?" Because I'm trying to learn, and he's like, "Well, she can walk down the steps without looking down." So I know that is very important in the Trump pageant world. You have to walk down the steps without. Because I was trying to because like the gay Tinos, and did you ever see like the video of those Filipino gays who were very into like she had 4 names. It was amazing, like. Maria Venus Raj something. They're like dying, losing their mind. It was a viral video. Venus Raj. Elkin, what is it? Send us the video. It's amazing. Like it will change your life.
Okay.
It will change your life. It was definitely Miss Philippines, and she.
Okay.
It was Rosa Perez holding back in the day. Yeah.
Very different world.
But they hooked him up with that, right?
Probably because one of them works mainly through the Miss America organization. One of them works mainly through the Miss USA organization.
See, I want you to host the pageants like Tom Bergeron, and is that a paying gig? Because that's what I would like. I would like you to be on TV.
I'd pay to do it. I'd be like, here's a $5 scholarship.
No, I think that you should host it. Like,
and you can be adjudicating with a stern face.
Actually, I would like to be with a mic set on like stage left, stage right, like yelling at them to get out there, or yelling at like
control issues, Dave. You've got to be the production manager, the stage manager,
like,
running the show.
I don't have to be seen. I just want to be running.
Okay,
that's...
got it.
Yeah,
to be revered, not
so,
seen.
Now the preliminary competition is over. I was living through this on your Facebook, so now
the finals will happen on Saturday night.
And did Greg give you a book of all of the people to review ahead of time as though you're reviewing like laws for Congress?
Yeah, do you remember when Mitt Romney accidentally said binders of women?
Yes. Yes. Can you please go get your binder of women? Just show people. I want them to see and know how intense.
This thick. And
go get it. Go get it. I want to see.
All right. Okay. And this is where it's different than Miss USA. The people watching this are going to be like, what the hell are we watching? Okay.
I thought we were here for skating. I mean, I only know this. They're on some tangent about pageants, which is totally different and insulting.
So here we go. It's literally this massive binder.
Okay.
And then it
has little engraved. This is a nicer binder than you got last time. Greg has upgraded. He
And
also does dog shows, by the way, because he wasn't gay enough. You know, he is also...
There's these subcultures that exist, right? And it's interesting because, you know, like I say that I'm an opera singer, which is a dying art form. I love a dying sport, arguably. Like I am, like judging a pageant that just announced on Tuesday that it's like getting rid of swimsuit competition.
Which
like,
is just, well, hashtag me too, but that is kind of why we watch. No, I like the evening gown. Actually, Jonathan, do you know what my least favorite part of the Miss America was? Always?
On-stage question.
No, I enjoy that to see how dumb they are. But
girls are smart. Again, remember there's two different categories.
Yeah,
you talk to me about over here, fine. That's on their own. But okay.
Oh, I loved it because like when Lauren Geller-Rabinowitz was in it, it was like, oh, there's a question. She's going to talk about the Holocaust. Is she? Here it comes. And then you're like, yup.
Single fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like the token Jewish girl on the pageant has to bring up the Holocaust. No. What I really enjoy, I always hated like the awkward talent portion. Like there's either an interpretive dance or skating on plastic ice or a baton twirling, and usually they were singing and not talented. It was always rough for me.
In general with talent, there seems to be two types of girls. Mm-hmm. Some that are very talented, and this is a vehicle for them to show off that talent. Those are the people that end up doing musical theater, kind of stuff like that. There's a very well-known opera singer here who was a former Miss America. And other ones clearly were like, I want to do this pageant, so let me try to pick a talent. Let me try to make up a talent. And even in the talent, you know, I just kept thinking of skating the whole time. So I was like, that girl has dead hands when she's dancing. Or you're like, that girl doesn't hold the position. Or that girl emoted. Or, you know, it's like, it's so many of the same qualities that we look for in skating. They're not dissimilar.
No, you know my cousin is a pageant queen, right? I told you this.
No.
She was Miss Teen Massachusetts, like a year or two ago.
For the Miss America organization?
Yes, but she's not in like the Miss America age bracket yet. She was in the age bracket below in like the juniors, I guess.
They have outstanding teens.
Yes.
Yeah,
so she
literally
was
just like junior.
Yeah. So she was like the junior champion of Massachusetts, and I guess she will continue. She's going to college this year. So are they college age when they're in Miss America? When do we see her in prime time?
Because it's primarily college scholarships that are awarded.
Yeah, because I'm like, I want the crown. I will, I will come when you are someone of note. I am because of like cousins. Like when you have extended cousins and multi-generations and Catholics without birth control, like people's ages are all so my grandfather's cousin is only like 10 years older than my parents, or maybe between 10 and 15 years older than my parents. So her grandchild is really Miss Teen. So she's like, my cousin, I can't even do the whole this removed, that removed. But from Massachusetts, she was Miss Teen, and the grandmother has become like a stage grandmother. Like she goes to every competition. She knows how to judge them. She knows how to evaluate. And Caitlin keeps winning. So we're very proud of Caitlin Martin. We think she's doing
through her social impact platform. Okay, great.
Yeah. Well, the women in my family. So you were just saying that you play Words with Friends against my mother. Who
I do. And she's very intense. You come by it honestly, Dave.
So I used to play Words with Friends when it first came out around like 2010 or 2011, and she just never stopped. Like she just kept going.
I go through it's like benders for me, where I will literally play nonstop and my eyes will glaze over, and then some days I'm like, I can't even do it. I'm gonna lose my whole day to it. So
yeah, she evaluates. Before she started playing you, she was like, Jonathan plays a lot of games. Oh, he plays a lot.
I'm not known for my moderation. Let's just say that.
All right. Neither am I. But as we said, remember, these are like the Marie France of markers. I got a lot of comments about the Prismacolor markers. People were impressed by them. So,
are you doing product placement and just not telling me?
no, I don't believe that they are. But someone was like, "Why would you buy markers?" And I'm like, "No. You don't understand. Like, these are worth." And when you use your Golden Girls coloring book, you do need to like have difference between apricot and peach. They're two very different skin tones when you're doing the ladies.
Absolutely.
Everyone can't have the same skin tone. You know that.
Also, since we're just so off topic anyway, let us not forget that Rose Nyland did have a figure skating episode for the Golden Girls.
Which season? I need to go back because I remember the tap dancing, obviously.
Her coach, Mr. Ninnervini, is her skating coach, and then when Blanche's daughter is going into labor, she accidentally calls her skating coach instead of the Lamaze coach. So then her skating coach shows up in the delivery room.
Oh.
Yeah, and wackiness ensues. Yeah,
wackiness ensues. Okay, well, I will watch that tonight. Yes. So let's discuss. There's been a lot of skating this year. We were going to discuss a couple leftover videos from Fantasy on Ice, but all of the ones that weren't posted the week before were just all taken down by the different TV networks. So if someone in Japan can explain why week one's videos were okay and then the week two videos that were posted were all of a sudden not okay, I'm not sure, but I'm really into that Lambiel song, the Lambiel program, to read all about it, part 3, which he did in Art and Ice. And then has kept going. It was the most spectacular thing.
I have such a tough, it's tough for me to see so many people, due to copyright issues, take all these videos down. On some level, I understand it, but on some level, it's like, you're not really giving us an alternative to see them. Mm-hmm. You know, I understand if like some grumpy network is like, no, you have to see it on our network or pay to blah, 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 blah. But there is no other option to see this. So,
well, I guess in Japan there are options. Maybe it's a much bigger deal there. Yeah.
But like, it's like, well, after that's been broadcast, can you just let them go back up? You know what I mean? It's tricky for me.
Did you see the program? It was spectacular. So it was
no
the real version of Labiel with his edges, the edge work. You know, he's always been known for his spins, but the actual skating was Janet Lynn levels of amazing. You know,
it was
balance.
Yeah.
I mean, the song is a little cheesy. I think the way Sandra said when I said it to her was, "Yes, he is better than his music." And I was like, "Yes, Sandra, yes, that is
like in spite of the music." Yeah, exactly. That's
normal. Yeah. So let's move on to skating because there's not too much to go into. Although a little bit of news and stuff. I don't remember if we ever actually talked about that Chalk and Bates are going to Marie France. I know we had tweeted about it, and
it's speculated because we knew that was probably going to be a thing. But
then, we knew it was a thing, but it just wasn't announced. Yeah.
But now they've announced, so now, yeah.
So that's interesting because that means that she'll have the top 3 teams right now,
right?
Which is interesting. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's tricky for me because where some things when like. You were such a proponent of Ashley and Gracie training together to create a very competitive environment.
Still am.
Yeah, bring them back. Do we think that was what these 3 teams needed? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Where normally that's a benefit to light the fire. I felt like they were good at self-motivating.
So
I think that.
Real.
Okay, yeah, let's.
None of these teams are like a Marilyn, Charlie, or Tessa and Scott. They don't have that innate I'm the best kind of thing about them. That
the swagger is missing from them.
Yes, and the confidence. Now, Hubble and Donahue were the number 3 team last year, but they didn't have someone nipping at their heels within the same rink. Right. This is great for them because they reached the medal, they reached one of their goals, and they reached national championship goal, and now they have people that are going to be pushing them every single day. So politically, it's also great for Marie France, for her teams, because she was always viewed as the outsider in the U.S., so she had to work so hard because Marina and Igor have judges in their back pockets for years. You know, the way Frank had Joe Inman in his back pocket, these judges were in Marina and Igor's camps, so they were always going to give the edge to the Shibs or whoever, and it was the establishment. Marie-France is now the queen of the U.S. She's the queen of Canada. She's the queen of France. She's, has teams in Spain. She has a Korean team. I believe there's a Japanese team. She has all these different countries. It's very brilliant strategically. And then on a training level, no, she doesn't have Weaver and Poje, who are perhaps Canada's best, or Gillis and Poirier. But she does have Hot Nikolai and his girlfriend, who switched from Denmark. They have the up-and-coming team, Shane Fierce, and the girl who looks like a short Natalie Pechalot. And then, so she has those two Canadians pushing each other, who are also around the same skating ability level as Caitlin and Jean-Luc, as Chalk and Bates. Then you have Hubble and Donahue. So there's a lot of competition that's going to push them to get better, even without their coaching, and then you add their good coaching to it. I think with Chalk and Bates, that she could probably do something interesting for them artistically that we haven't seen, because there is something to work with each of the three teams.
Right. With what Madison Chalk lacks in edge quality, she does have in performance quality, arguably more than everyone else. Mm-hmm. But it's almost, from my standpoint, never been taken advantage of properly.
Yeah.
And Marie, like you and Sandra were talking about this, like one of her real special talents is helping that girl, or the female in the partnership, find her voice. Mm-hmm. And I think that if Madison Chalk found her voice, even though it may not be the voice I would choose inherently, it could still be something very entertaining and unique to watch if it's packaged properly.
She's been held back by horrific music choices for at least 5 years. I mean, An American in Paris.
Does have, because she does have that. So now we have maybe less edge quality than some of the other girls, and you've taken away her X factor for some reason.
She's sensual. She could do a tango. She could do light. She could do a rumba. She could do anything. I mean, she just has such personality and such a flair for performance.
And energy. She has a pizzazz kind of energy.
And they can help her skills, perhaps, because Igor wasn't known for getting people the edges. I believe Liz Coates was really the technician early on with him. She came from the British school, which is similar to, what Marie-France teaches. And it's Marie-France, it's Romaine, it's Patrice, but them together, that's interesting in the rink. And they do have a very structured schedule that does work. It has worked very well. So that's interesting to me.
And their girls have improved. And it's almost in a way the same reason. I feel like Jean-Luc and Caitlin have some potential limitations regardless, just logistically and nature-wise. But he's so amazing, and I wonder if she struggles with feeling enough. I feel like she will also greatly have her skills improved and her confidence will grow. They seem to build confidence there very well, which is, as you know, like that can be a real dangerous side effect of this kind of environment, is that things get toxic, things get negative, things get too intense. But so far they've maintained such a seemingly from the outside healthy training environment for everyone to thrive in.
Yeah, when I was reading Pat Summitt's book, she was talking about the confidence of people and how you have to go really hard on some females and some athletes. She coached females, so really hard until the last moment, and then you kind of tell them all the growth that they have made. And she talks about the emotional manipulation and how the psychological aspect is so important with the coaching. And I thought it was interesting because coaches spend so much time talking about mindset rather than the actual physical, how much of this is mental and how much of this is psychological, emotional, and that is the really thing. I think that it has to be interesting too for Marie-France to have so many new students to work with. So it's like new inspiration, new voices after working with so many teams. I'm really excited to see what comes out. I think it will go well. And having all of those strong females and the strong men together, I think will be really interesting because...
Can I say something really bad?
Yeah.
is, you know how like Lori Nickel, whom I admire, I do, but obviously there's some overuse going on there.
Oh, yes.
And so, like you've always pointed out, like, you know who she's really showing up for. As Marie France and friends start to amass such a collection of teams, it will be interesting to me to see if I feel like the quality of material being given varies, because inevitably there's a lot of teams in the mix there.
Well, she does bring in outside influence. Remember, she brought in David Wilson for Tessa and Scott, and she brought in Christopher Dean for Papadox and Cizeron. So it doesn't seem to be such an ego thing where she has to be the main choreographer. Like, she can bring in and collaborate, and she could bring in Sandra, and she can bring in David, and she can do that. So I think that there are enough voices, and Romaine, probably has ideas and things like that, and the Sam Chouinard. But yes, there will be some overuse, and also people show up for talent. So I was really disappointed in Smart and Diaz's free dance last year. I think I said it on there. I would say that to Marie France if I saw her. I would say I thought that was a miss, and just like. It just felt like Stars on Ice, 1995, Natural Woman, like Jill Trenery was skating a group number or something. It just really...
Her boots were made for walking. Okay.
I really hated it. I just have to tell you. But I loved their circles. But then I would be the first one to tell you their skill level is not where Hubble and Donahue were yet. And their discipline, wasn't there last season. So when they get to the next level, there is something to work with and be inspired by. So...
Right.
And the team has to show up and be inspired too. When you are Tessa Virtue or Papadox and Cizeron, you have to bring stuff to the table as well. Your own artistic views. You need to be watching films, going to museums, seeing performances. That's part of being an ice dancer. So
because I would think at this level, one doesn't want to dictate, but one wants to collaborate.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, it's especially in ice dance, finding something that's authentic and vulnerable and open has to be personal. It can't be assigned. It can't be put on. When they first had Hubble and Donahue, and then all of a sudden they did that Hallelujah short dance, and we're like, oh, that's it. You found that's the one. And then you see with the free dance from that season, they were like, well, let's see how this one. And it so clearly didn't fit. So it took that year for them to be like, this fits like a glove, and this, it seemed like it was put on them.
Yeah, I agree. Because remember, I'm trying to think back as, when you see Lori, her stuff that you would say, like if Lori had to make a CV of her best work, Michelle Kwan, Dante's Prayer era, Lamente Ariane, all of that kind of stuff, looks very different than Carolina Costner, who also looks very different than Patrick Chan. But then if you start comparing and you see Dennis Ten, his very best stuff, I would say, is unique. His earlier stuff kind of looked reductive of Patrick Chan. And then, but it's always the real talent. They seem to identify unique things too. Like Sutoko looks unique. Doesn't look anything like Costner. And they both look great. Like, I didn't think that Hubble and Donahue, Virtue and Moyer, and Papadox and Cizeron really resembled each other in their free dance or their work. But if you were to see their second tier teams, I'd be like, oh, that looks like that's recycled from someone else. So if you work yourself up to that level where you are the focal point, I think then you get really unique stuff because more time and energy is being invested on you, and that competition is going to raise you up. If Smart and Diaz can start getting their twizzles in unison and act like they're skating the program at the same time with one another, I think we will get a much better program, right? Like they will...
Right.
Yeah.
And I would think in the first year, because it's one of those things like you want to be open and you want to change and grow and develop, but yet you want to stay true to what it is you have to say. So I think those first years in particular, it's probably a difficult balancing act of not losing your identity, but improving and still maintaining a voice without being stubborn and just doing the same thing you've always done. Because how are you going to get a different result if you keep doing the same thing?
What did Sasha Cohen say? If you do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten. I'd be
But
like,
she's
well,
yeah.
Sasha, you've never done a full long program in practice in 3 years. Why don't you do that for once? But anyway, and I don't want to say like I'm being really hard on Smart and Diaz because I just think we saw them as a first year team and we could see, oh my God, they have something really to offer. They still were second year together and they were so close to being where they needed, but not quite.
But well, I'm just that guy. Hurtado and Diaz were.
I know, and it's the thing. We know what they can be. We have little patience. We want to see the great results.
Patience. Yeah. Just fix it already. Just be amazing already. Okay, great.
Be
Thanks.
amazing. You are here to do the job, and yeah.
Okay.
We do not have time. Okay.
Right. I'm getting bored, you guys. Pick it up.
You had that music circles before the other people. We loved it, and then it just never went anywhere. The program just. But
you have actually training so many people wish they did.
Yeah. So I think it'll be a really interesting season from that point. But let's move on to the ISU. Oh, we wanted to say our hearts go out to the Gillis family because Bonnie passed away from cancer, and they had wanted to keep it quiet, but this has been.
But they did do like a formal post.
Oh yes. But they kept it quiet during the Olympic year. But she had been, very ill. They weren't sure if she was going to make it to the Olympics. For someone who had, devoted so much of her life as a skating mom into the sport, and was really beloved by many people in the U.S. and the Colorado community in particular. So a hard time for them. But let's discuss kind of the ISU as we look to next season. This is interesting. These are going to be some interesting changes. First,
I felt like reading like an SAT question or something, or like one of those AP writing, because I was like, hold on, read it again, John. Okay,
say what say what you mean and mean what you say, and just make it clear. Okay, so the first rule that was like, what? I had to read it 3 times, and I was like, oh, I got it.
Okay.
Is the under rotations, because there's been some gray area with the really hyper queens will say that's under rotated. So there was some, and I actually think that this is good that they changed this, even though people are going to say it's not. But there was always this feeling that if you were doing a triple jump and you're on the corner of a quarter turn, if you're a quarter turn or more of under rotation. So if you were to be like 2 3/4, that does not count as 3. 2 7/8 would count as 3, but 2 3/4 is an under rotated jump, and it was kind of like if you're on the line of 1/4. Before, some
they
colors
would give the benefit of the doubt. Right?
Sometimes,
if you
but
were
Shinamama wouldn't. Shinamama would not, and that's why you see people like Mariah, like Karen, like Brady, like Ashley. They're all in trouble with this on the quarter mark. They really have to make sure they get that extra height. I think that probably means that Mariah will not be coming back. I mean, these are not positive rule changes for her.
Yeah, I guess how we know what it does to Megan. What does under rotation in general do for you as a viewer?
That's interesting. I don't think we're so trained to look at it now. I think back in the day, if there was an obvious under rotation that the naked eye could see, that was clearly a problem. Yeah. Then there's the under rotation that you could see as a skater, and then there's the ones that you have to go back and look at video. When you're getting to the point that you have to look at video, I think we're getting really a little critical, a little
I
crazy.
agree with you, and I thought the old rule, which kind of erred on the side of generous, it seemed like. It was like, basically, as we understood it in layman's terms, if it boiled down to like
the Sarah Hughes triple that's done half a rotation on the ice that you could see with the naked eye.
Now that's inappropriate. I was just going to bring her up as the example. Like when you go back and watch the Sarah Hughes long program in Salt Lake City, you're like, okay, no, come on. Now this is distracting.
Yeah.
But it's when that NBC thing and it goes yellow or whatever, those screens, normally a lot of those did just change back to green. And so now it just seems like all of those yellows will most likely become red.
That is, that's what Lewis was saying. He had it down to a mathematical science of how many of them usually turn. But that really, look, on one hand, it's more critical. On the other hand, it's saying like, hey, if it's under rotated, it's going to be called under rotated. Like, there's not going to be this leeway of should it be called, shouldn't it be called.
Well, the main thing is just for that consistency, which is exactly what you're saying. If it truly was, if it's on the quarter, we'll give it to you. And if it's just, if it's just on the other side.
Now, if it looks under rotated at all, girl.
Now it's going to be, if you're on the quarter, it's sorry. But
you have to have a Tanya Harding triple Lutz rotated in the air, come down like a Mack truck, land it. Nancy's Lutz.
That thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If it's,
to be fair, that was a Lutz. Jeez Louise. But
look, if it's a Nancy Lutz, that's going to count. If it's an Oksana triple, girl, no, bye.
Yeah. Now some of hers were distracting, Oksana's, I would say. But some of the ones where we're going back with the camera and flip-flopping on, I was like, come on, you guys.
Like that Oksana triple Lutz that was two-footed and under-rotated at every Ice Wars in the technical program. Not
even at the Olympics.
Even at the Olympics, yes.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Odd. Her triple loop was like her best jump at the Olympics, and she never did it as a pro, and it was the most beautiful one. It was the one that was like, that was clean. Never did it again.
You got one. Yeah.
The triple flip, clearly under. Like,
right. Same thing with Chen Lu. Chen Lu, you knew you were kind of forgiving that because you appreciated it.
Was such a pretty program in Nagano, but that triple combination was just...
Was really a double-double.
Yeah. Oh, Chen Lu in Nagano, we were really pretending. She was a little TOS, but we loved her and the skating was so pretty. Yeah. And she had that foot injury, Jonathan. Well, today, Maria Bucherskaya would have won that. With those, she would have stiff-legged that way to a bronze medal based on...
Your knee. Why can't she bend her knee ever?
We needed to give Maria a knee replacement. Okay, that would have...
Exactly. One that can bend.
Those were adult skating knees that she looked like she started skating like at 30.
Right before.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked like the girl at the pageant that just learned ice skating, so she had a talent.
Yes. Oh, girl. Doing the layback on the plastic ice, and you're like, woo, girl. Yes. Wide lens.
So it's going to get tough. It's going to get really tough with those. Now, the rule I am excited about is that they removed the arm variation stump as counting towards the GOE.
I think it's appropriate.
I think that's correct.
And they were saying that, is this an attack on the Russians? Look, let's be really honest.
Not just the Russians were doing it.
Russia controls the ISU. If they want something passed, they have all of their satellite countries and the people they make deals with. It would have not passed. The same thing with the Zagitova rule, which is the new Zayak rule. Also, no. When I said that, is it really named after Zagitova? Because people took this very literally. The Zayak rule, I don't believe, is actually named the Zayak rule in the rule book. It's just how it is known because Elaine decided to do 4 triple toes at the World Championships, and then they said, okay, that's ridiculous. So when you do...
like in the Super Bowl Janet Jackson check. Something to do with your wardrobe. Like, that's why the rule exists, so you can say that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So... people got very touchy. They were like, why are we singling out Zagitova? No one is singling out Zagitova. They're singling out this exploitation.
And don't underestimate Zagitova. Yeah. We had our thoughts on that. They put everything
she can do a better program and still win. Are you kidding? Her jumps are good enough regardless.
She had some great combos. They'd be just as good in the first.
It's a more well-balanced program because you want to see excitement throughout a program. You don't want to be snoozing for the first half. And only having so that a 15-year-old waif could be able to do this. It's about a real sport. I think that this is positive. And again, if Russia did not want that to go through because they were the ones that really trained and exploited that the most, they would have prevented it. It was not hindered by Russia. Like Canada, who voted against banning having your federation president also be a judge. Canada said, oh no, we want that to still go on. Canada, who's always complaining about judging, thinks that is appropriate. So the next time the Canadians whine, just, note that. Just
remember that that's what the stance they decided to take.
So the Russians were the ones that said no. So that shows you that they are kind of supporting Medvedeva a little bit. They're They're looking,
and that's just what I was thinking. That's what that seems to
they
be
know
coming
she's
around.
the long-term Katarina Witt personality that's going to be around the sport. Yeah, that was interesting to me that they're. I think they're.
I'm still going to say it again. I know we're like beating a dead horse, but I really am saddened and disappointed by the +5, -5 GOE.
So
and
I am too. And when we're agreeing with Mishin, who we're usually not in agreement with about many things, Professor
right.
Mishin is saying that this is bad, and so is Tarasova, who knows how to manipulate a judging panel better than anyone, is saying,
Yeah. It's because, Dave, actually, I think a change could have been made, and I really would have gone the opposite direction. I would say just give it a +1 or a -1. Here's the jump. Did you do it? Great. Here's a 0. Did you do it really well? Great. Here's a +1. Did you do it, but it was kind of gross? Okay, -1. I don't understand, like, what is the difference between a +2 and a +4? And to me, whatever that difference is has nothing to do with the actual...
So now, 11, I was watching PJ Kwong's...
oh, bless you.
Well, I was
Okay.
watching, and because it was the same day that the rules came out, and I wanted to see what you had to say, and 11 different gradations of it. Now, when we did the judging videos and looked at Yuna Kim's jumps, if you looked at those bullets, and the Koreans got very angry with us, but if you look at the bullets, how they were written,
Right.
Yuna really deserved a +2 by the criteria. Now, I believe the jump was a +3 because of the overall impression, the overall athleticism, the height. Like, I believe you could give her 2 bullets for some of that. It was so exceptional.
Well, how did that jump make you feel? You were excited by it? It looked awesome? Plus.
And by the way, all of the judges gave her a +3, in spite of the fact that based on the written criteria, it probably should have been a +2. But no one looks at the written criteria because you don't have time to jump. What are we going to do? Have a judging system where you have to check off the bullets? Judging would take 20 minutes per program.
Gut reaction. Gut reaction.
It's gut reaction every time.
Or the jump was worse than
Now
base value.
they're going to manipulate so heavily by someone's going to get a -1, someone could get a +5. And this is, Mishin says that, so Mishin says that in his time there have been 2 major changes as a coach. The abolition of compulsory figures and the introduction of the judging system. And he said these changed the whole sport of figure skating. In some ways it became better, but in some ways it became worse. He said the first was like, look who is talented and who is not talented changed, because it used to be really important to have great edges and control. Right. He said, who is a good coach and a bad coach changed because who is a good judge and a bad judge changed because they had to judge jumps and not figures. The new system wasn't created to make figure skating better, but to make judging easier. I agree with him about that. I don't think it's made the sport better. I know some people think, oh, well, we see more difficult spins. Yeah, but we see the same spin 20 times, and it's boring and not musical. There were other ways that we could have enhanced spinning. The coach who authored several books on the biomechanics of figure skating feels that creativity in elements like spins and footwork was lost. Now Mishin sees the third change of revolutionary character coming up and is skeptical, notably about the introduction of a grade of execution range from -5 to +5. These changes deliver a heavy blow to the objectivity of judging, I think, he warned. Plus, +3 or +4 or +5, it is not possible to make a difference. There are no criteria. Only the members of the technical committee write them down on paper, but you cannot differentiate so much because basically the jumps are done the same way by everyone. Your friends give a +5 and your enemies give a +1 or a -1, and the +5 is decisive. To Mishin, the existing range of -3 to +3 in the GOE is enough, and currently not always used in the proper way, as some top athletes get positive GOEs on elements that were not as good. And he says, and he's very specific here, some ladies have a bad double axel, and they nevertheless get a +2. Well, his girls are competing against those Atari girls.
Right.
Therefore, this +5 will be a heavy blow. The leaders will get a +5, and the non-leaders will get a 0 or -1. The way to hell is paved with good intentions. The coach who began skating... I'm reading this entire Tatiana Fled article on Golden Skate. Go read it.
Some dramatic reading. Okay.
I'm really using my voice. I hope you're enjoying my reader. This is my broadcast voice, okay?
Yeah, okay.
The coach, who is professor at the Lesgoft University of Physiculture, Sports and Health in St. Petersburg, feels that skaters are discouraged to learn new jumps if the penalty for mistakes is that big. You need the motivation to do it in competition, said Mishin, who has been studying figure skating technique for decades and developed exercises and methods for teaching jumps that are used worldwide. When the athlete knows that he is not going to do the jump in competition, he will learn it slowly. If he knows that he will execute the jump in competition, he'll master it earlier. Mishin points out that there is a big difference between a triple Lutz and a quad Lutz. 1,000 people are doing a triple Lutz, but only a dozen do quad Lutz. He observed, "It is 100 times harder. You have to rotate, but the current system is able to deal with rotated and under-rotated jumps perfectly." He also disagrees with the proposal that each type of quadruple jump can be done only once in the program and not repeated in competition as it is now. Some of the proposed rule changes were in large part a reaction to men going after quads they haven't mastered yet. What? So you can only repeat one of the quads. So there's going to be a thing.
Did you know, Dave? I did not know that.
It's going to be a new rule because of the Splatfest that have happened and all the skaters missing things. I don't know how I feel about the repetition of quads. I think that falling could have been deducted more.
Why would it be any different than the rule for triples? Repeat it, but repeat it in a combo.
They're changing it. They're gonna allow only one, and I think it's to really maybe make them do different ones, so you can't do 2 quad toes and 2 quad sows. I didn't feel like that was a need. I didn't, watch.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see. If you did 2 quad toes, one in combination, and you do a quad sow, why not do a quad sow combination? I think that's great. You now doing a quad loop is necessary.
I don't think that this rule needed to happen. It will force Hanyu to go for that quad loop to remain super competitive. Perhaps even the quad Lutz, which he has not practiced because of his ankle injury.
Yeah, if anything, this encourages more falls because it's encouraging people to try the more difficult quads themselves.
So here's the thing. Do you think that do these rules really put a blow to Hanyu? I mean, Hanyu, in my mind, would get a +5 for some of if he can land jumps like he did at the Olympics when he looked incredible.
Right.
I think he has better jump landings than Nathan often. Nathan will do the quad Lutz, but we haven't seen him land.
It's not always as beautiful.
No, he crosses behind quickly and kind of, gets out of it.
Punchy sometimes. He ekes it out a little bit. Understandable. It's amazing what he's doing. But yes, Hanyu often can land prettier.
Yeah, so I think if you're going to be judging GOE, sometimes Nathan with the quad flip, it would be sloppy. We saw maybe at Skate America or at Nationals, he would pitch forward a little bit. I think now that you have a range, you could give him a -2, give Hanyu a +4. And that is interesting. I think that maybe takes away some of his advantage of doing different quads. I think it kind of balances out. I know there's been a lot of panicky speculation. Is this going after? It will make it more competitive. I mean, just as Michelle wasn't just on top forever, Irina was a competitor eventually. Hanyu will be competitive with Nathan, perhaps with Boyang Jin, if they can all do a number of quads.
Right.
But this is not the rule I'm the angriest about. So
no. It does just seem surprising because it will reward the variety more than the consistency in a way. And someone like Boyan Jin also, he may have the ability to do the variety of quads, but again, I'd rather see 2 quad toes and sows by Javi than the entire arsenal of quads from Boyan Jin.
Yeah, I would as well. So I'll get into the rule that I am the angriest about. And you can go... The one that sets me over the edge the most is not that they got rid of a jumping element in the men's. I think that that's fine. If you want to do 7 jumping passes instead of 8, I don't really see the need to get rid of one. But if they want to, that's fine. But at the same time that they did that, they got rid of 30 seconds. Because they think that they want to make the competitions move quicker. Well, the way to do that, I feel, is that the judging takes too long. It's not the actual skating. Is not what you're mad about. It's the judging, which...
Yeah.
Now that you have to go between a +5 and a -5, it's going to take longer to... It should take longer to really think about these when there are mathematical implications here. Now, to me, the problem is this. If you want to get rid of a jumping element, that's fine. That's positive. Let them actually have longer time for skating that is not an element, so that you can really have real components, and then you'll get a better overall impression. You'll see more skating that's just skating for the art, for the creativity, and not so rushed. And a jumping pass it shouldn't take a full 30 seconds. So you would have more creativity, more time. Now you're going to have to cram the elements into an even shorter amount of time. And to me, it's like...
Well, it could have been, like you're saying, you were on the brink of actually making a very cool move to swing what these like old crony 6.0 queens are like still upset about. That could have been a huge step in the right direction. You know what? We're going to take a jump, and we're going to give you more time to actually perform, emote.
And not even adding something to it. Just give someone more time so that it doesn't have to be a non-step that we have to judge. We don't have to skating protocol everything. We don't have to be so autistic about skating.
Loosen the grip. It's as if the panels are designing everyone's programs. And it's like, let that go and let someone be creative.
And if you had the 30 seconds, you could see real transitions. And then if someone's not doing transitions, you could really duck them. And you'd have more time to see interpretation, more time to see choreography. I believe that you would get more fans in the seats because the programs would be more interesting and they would look less similar.
With 30 seconds, you could take that big, wasted, like, spread eagle moment.
Yes!
You could take one big, expansive move just for that move's sake opportunity, which is really when I look back to some of my favorite skating programs, like, there usually is, like, and then came that moment. Do you know what I mean?
So that's like when I grew up with skating, and it doesn't have to be a 6-0 thing, but it was in the 6-0 that this happened. To me, the most iconic moves in programs that I remember that aren't jumps. I mean, like, yes, there are jumps, like Tara's triple loop. Like, I remember it was eye-catching, it was specific, it was unique, right? But I remember Michelle lunging towards the judges in Salome and doing that move off of the Ina Bauer, which was not a choreographic sequence. Right. It was not a spiral sequence. It was just choreography for the sake of being choreography.
It was art.
It was what caught me. It was what grabbed you as a viewer, and you said, "I want to watch that. That's cool." You don't see that anywhere else. That's artistic. And they used to have it in gymnastics, and they've ruined that sport with the judging as well. And it was like those little moments that they cost you nothing, right? But they just add so much. The Paul Wiley holding the edge and looking sexy, his spread eagle, his spiral,
that wow moment that made it a historical performance. You take out those moments, and then it's just kind of like generically lovely skating. Where are the historical performances based on the marriage of the jumps and the choreography?
Yeah, like
could have done it.
I don't know. That's what I want to see. Like, as much as I want to see a real layback that doesn't have to change positions 27 times, I want to let the skating breathe. I want to see real art.
That's a great way to do it. And 30 seconds would have given you some breathing time.
Yeah. Just stroke well. Big open skating. Big, expansive arms that
take time. That let it land. Like even judging some of the dancing in pageant land, I felt like I wrote Zagitova a couple times on my sheet because it was like a flurry of movements, none of which had a time to finish or land. Mm-hmm. The eye can't even keep up with what's happening because nothing has been held, and it's that same concept.
Yeah,
so
you want to have Kurt Browning get rid of the cigarette in Casablanca and hold on the edge and do those Sandra slow sections, and
you want to have Tanya Harding get rid of that cigarette and go back to her practice ring.
Yes,
do her choreography.
Like, think about what Hanyu could do with a hydroblade type movement, or do something unique, and everything could be more. Yeah,
Toma would fill that 30 seconds of choreographic time so interestingly.
Yeah, it would make it, and I think that would really balance the athleticism and the art together, because you have 7 jumping passes to do all of this movement to
Right.
see who's doing the quad. So you don't have to put in, because oftentimes for many skaters, the eighth jumping pass could be filler. Like
Right.
in some cases, some of the lesser skaters are doing a double axel there. Do we need to see a double axel there from? Like, come on, you're a senior man. I don't care if you can do a double axel. You know, like, that's a waste of time.
Do it the other way.
Like, I don't care about you doing a double axel for like 3 points at the end of the day. I do care about you doing like 3 Russian split jumps. Now that would get me really excited.
Butterflies or something. Yeah, like do something awesome. Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Okay.
Gosh, I'm very passionate about that. That's what I care about.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan, why do you buy good Prismacolor markers instead of regular markers? Because you fucking can, okay? Because you care about the product.
Exactly.
Right?
Amazing.
Oh, man, are there?
I didn't understand that sequence problem with the double axel either.
So that basically means that you can't do 2 triple toes connected anymore. And this is the whole thing: is that now if you're doing a half loop, which they write down as a single loop, that counts as a combination. Remember, you get 1-3 jump combination. It's not a sequence, but a sequence would be like 2 triple toes with the steps in between. Basically, you can't do that because it has to be the okay. So it's going to say a jump sequence consists of 2 jumps from any number of revolutions, beginning with any jump, immediately followed by an axel type jump with a direct step from the landing curve of the front jump to the takeoff curve of the axle jump, also proposed in the agenda. So you wouldn't be able to do like step, step, step. So there's Sasha Cohen, triple toe, step, 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 triple sow cow could not happen. That would not even be a sequence. They would be 2 different jumps. Like she did in Torino. Remember how she really kind of like took her time often between them and still messed up the combo? She would not be able to do what she did there. So
Okay. And I just wonder, were they running into enough of a problem? Like, for some of these, it's not even like you're saying that the rule was implemented, but what was the motivation behind it? Why did they feel the need to clarify this?
I guess because people were abusing the steps in between.
Did you find that? Because I guess I didn't necessarily find that.
I mean, like, even Aliona's for some years wouldn't have counted. Although she's great, you know, like that just needed to, I guess there are certain things. But we are going to be seeing really, I guess we're going to be able to see, sorry, my mom just texted me, so I got distracted. We're going to be able to see.
I saw you go to a dark place, so do with that information whatever you will.
Oh, no, it was something about someone being pardoned, and she goes, big mouth idiot. She's talking about our president. I'm just saying, she's got a lot of views. We're going to be able to do like under-rotated half loops. Like if Kirsten Moortowers under-rotates her half loop, they are going to, in her double axel half loop triple sow, they are going to really...
Well, we talked about this with Doug Haw. Like, you know, people utilize that half loop, you know.
Do you know who utilizes that half loop and sometimes kind of cheats it? Maria Sotskova. Just saying, that giraffe does not get around very quickly on...
Right. Her undoing was that wretched half loop.
That was what we hated about her skating.
And Anna, you know, her half loop was just the ugliest thing you'd ever seen.
The Maria Bucherskaya
Yeah.
I wonder, I have to go back and watch hers. Her half loop combo was all about how she pulled up on the other jump with her arms for dear life instead of using those legs at all. But
it was fun to talk to Doug to be like, why are some so unaesthetically pleasing? But it sounds like they're going to start getting dinged for it.
I did talk to Doug and ask him what he thinks about these rules. Oh my God! I made he was into the Zagitova rule about, so you're only going to be able to do 1 jump in the bonus in the short. And
But I still think that's ridiculous. I don't even think it should be in the short because it's a short program. Like that's the whole. Yeah. I think it's reserved for the long. But
Phil Hirsch was upset. He wants you to be able to do 2 in the bonus in the short.
But there's no such thing. Like it's a short program. Like it doesn't matter if you do it at that mark anyway because you're done then.
I get it. 1 jump in the fine. That's kind of cool though because the real ballers then will do their solo jump first, the axle, and then they'll do the combo in and get the bonus for the most points.
Would just be one jumping element, like
Yes.
it doesn't to be the solo jump or the
So
axel.
if you're a real baller and you take the risk where you do your solo quad and your axle and then you do the quad combo, like there's no room for
miss
error.
those combo points. Yeah, exactly.
You miss that combo, like so sorry, bye bye. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot.
Who gambles?
It's
Yeah.
a gamble. I think that's interesting.
Okay.
They're also going to change the twizzles, and if one person wipes out, there's still some credit, which I think. Look, ice dance is so difficult to understand for even fans.
To quantify, yeah.
Quantify. When Zach blows a twizzle and they don't, Hubble and Donahue don't medal, it adds such drama. It's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. It's that skier going.
What being a pair is to know when one that you both
seems like such an American pair skating. Oh, but they tried type.
Yeah.
They skated with so much heart. No,
She did it, even though he didn't. So let's give him partial credit. No, yeah.
We're not going to give like the Marissa and Mervyn credit for like one of them landed at one time and then one landed at the other and the next. No, okay.
All the averages you're scoring on.
For pairs, lift level features must be performed within the first 3.5 revolutions of a lift. For a takeoff and landing, there is additional allowance of 1/2 revolution. A carry during a lift does not count as a level feature in the short and only counts once in the free skate. I'm sure that would be a very big deal to Megan Duhamel. For the rest of us, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, to me, I was like, all right, okay, whatever.
Now, partners must stay within 3 meters of each other while crossing during a step sequence. Now, for this, I do care about this. I think 3 meters is quite a bit of room. That's interesting because sometimes, remember when they started doing those, like, when the step sequences, when, like, John and Katie would do them and they would, like, travel forwards and then backwards and they would have, like, loops to try to fit in all these movements and... I would like a recognizable shape. If you're doing a line, I want it to look like a line. None of these like straight line and it becomes a curve and it becomes serpentine.
Well, and then remember we had those Chinese pairs that were just like full-blown parting ways. And then the camera had to be like, wait, what do I do? What do I do? Who are we going to follow? You know?
Oh, so you can't do like the mirror steps anymore. Which was kind of cool, but also like impossible to judge. Like how are we judging both people? Yeah, so I guess that's interesting. And then all spins with a change of foot must have 3 revolutions on each foot. In the short program, if this requirement is not fulfilled, the spin will get no value. In free skating, the sign V indicates that this requirement is not fulfilled. So that's, I guess...
First, how were they doing that before? I kind of thought that was already in place. Or they were just saying they would have knocked you down levels.
They knocked you down levels, but the V was always bad for spins.
Right.
So they're just, I think, clarifying. Okay. With the change of foot. So
now riddle me this, Dave. As a planner, and let's say you're Olympic eligible and you're going to enter this next season. I have a feeling at this point in the year, you have already picked out your music, you have already choreographed, you've already done all this stuff. Here come all these rules.
Well, the best skaters haven't.
Then the best skaters haven't. Okay.
Because they're doing shows.
Seconds and
have you noticed the people who have programs are the ones who are not in Japan doing shows. So it kind of works out for them. The other ones have to do touch-ups, but it's
okay, but now what about these men in this missing 30 seconds? Are you telling me now all these guys...
That was known that was coming for a while. Like that, we knew that was coming. So
enough fair warning on enough of the...
They don't do choreography anyway in the men's when they do in those quads. So let's be real.
And, listening to some of the music edits, they're like, I don't know, just like drop the needle and just take out those 30 seconds.
Haven't you seen some of those programs? I mean...
Fair enough.
Some of your Russian boys, I mean, I don't know what's going... I mean, Max Aaron, I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was like, my
Vincent,
Russian boy.
I don't know what is happening. Also, something's going on in the Brady coaching situation. Because Jeremy Allen is now being involved with the Aliona... School of Coaching. He's going to be working with Alexa and Chris for like up to 4 hours a day when Aliona's out of town. And he's also
does seem like a good jump technician, right?
Yeah. So I know that Brady couldn't leave Denise because of like financial issues and all of that worked. Now, apparently, Brady made like around 60,000 ish for Stars on Ice. That's interesting how much they make. So that would have to go to like coaching fees and stuff like that. She's not she's not getting off rich by any of this with how expensive skating is.
Now in which to
cover expenses. So, but something's going on where it looks like Jeremy Allen may be her more primary coach. So that's interesting because people were thinking Denise was robbed of PSA Coach of the Year, but then Brady may be going Jeremy. I could see Brady training alongside Alexa and Chris, and maybe her consistency could rub off on Chris Knierim. Like maybe via osmosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of train
just
together.
A new environment. I have a feeling they're all going to be fine. She seems excited about skating again, Alexa.
Yeah.
And I think there was a period where we saw her excitement in addition to being...
I'm less terrified of her. She seems less like she's unhappy and stressed and wanting to yell at someone over text message.
I get a genuine excitement, and I didn't know that was going to come. And now that that's come, I feel very confident that
I haven't seen it in like 2 years. You know, like it's really...
When someone's like, the old Alexa is back, like kind of that spunk and pizzazz is coming back. Even just since I know social media is all like...
And Chris is saying that his body wants to die every day, which is what you want in a new coaching change.
It looks good.
I think, so if Karen is going to compete another season, we know she had a tryout with Arachev. I think she needs to do it. He's the only one that could get her a real triple under these new rules.
Right.
I mean, could you even imagine? I mean, that would be a pain in the neck for him to work with her. She would have to deal with his yelling and all of that. And
yeah, I don't know if she's up for the challenge. That's the thing.
I think if you can survive that, look, how many more years is Karen Chen going to eke out, like, performances? Right. I would send her, and you know who else I would send? Star Andrews. Like, what is she doing? How is she going to get a triple Lutz? Have her work with Alex, maybe for several weeks per month or per quarter or whatever. But she needs to get that triple Lutz. What's going on there? Why doesn't she have one? She's pretty athletic. I think she could do it. She needs to have more powerful skating as well. I would like to send her to him. Apparently, Pusha is working triple Lutz, triple toe. His skater who flies in from Arkansas works with him. So I'm interested in that little situation. I think that would be a smart move. Shoma always works with Alex Arashev, so...
Chicago could be this whole new hub again.
Yeah, Chicago!
Wagon wheel, Janet Linde.
And apparently Igor Spielban is leaning against DSC at the moment. He may stay in Novi. And then that means with Pasquale would go there and they would lose a whole dance program. So DSC would not be the hotbed anymore. And then without Marina really having anyone, like, why is no one utilizing Marina? Like, Weaver and Poge seem to be sticking with Nikolai. We saw Tarasova visiting them there. Stolbova was randomly there without Klimov in the photo at the ice house. So what's happening there? So
Klimov was at the beach last week.
Yeah, well, I don't look. Why why are they never together? What is going on in that? Like, even in the warm up, they like acknowledge each other for 25 seconds. I don't. It's.
And I'm unsure because also then when the Russian Federation first sent out that list, like Roganov was not on the list, and then later they announced like they're not even around anymore.
So Shannon Slivka does want to talk about the list because you know she is our primary person that's on top of Russia at all times. She's doing the good work. We thank you, Shannon, for all doing God's work, really, for us. She knew about Krylova with Popova and Mozgov like way earlier. The thing that really she's very upset about is that our girl, well, she's my girl. I don't know how you feel about her, but Anna Shcherbakova, who did the quad Lutz,
just nervous. She makes me that kind of
innate musicality and talent, but breakability. You know.
Yes, yeah. I'm like afraid to like it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like two music box. Like you think it's gonna break. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can't have nice things in this sport. You know, like. Sasha Cohen, she's such a nice thing, but she has to fall. You know, like it's just it's how it works.
It would be too awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Johnny, he was too wonderful extension. He had to be stricken by inherent laziness and wimpiness. Like it couldn't just work. You know,
it would have just done that. Yeah. But what about her?
Well, she only got novice level funding because she didn't compete much last season. But with all of the Russian finagling, they couldn't even get her junior level funding. Like, that's just insulting. The girl can do a quad Lutz.
Yeah, for goodness sakes, this is someone to invest in. But
I know. I'm more excited to watch the Junior Grand Prix final to see Sherbakova, Trusova, and Kosternaya throw down. Please let them all be healthy.
Yeah, exactly. But who's your favorite out of the three? Kosternaya. Team Kosternaya. For me.
I like Sherbakova and Kosternaya. But I also like the fact that Trusova can go for 2 quads, so they're all interesting for different reasons.
Yeah, all three are...
Who do I don't care about? The girl that was doing the lipstick and the... Like, some of the second tier Terry Juniors were really sloppy. I'm like, I don't even...
Exactly.
don't care about you. I care about the ones who are important, you know.
Right, exactly. But now, Rika Kahira, she's only senior next year, right?
She's senior.
Okay.
So this is exciting. Finally, she's been a junior forever.
Yes, exactly. So. Welcome.
Welcome. And bienvenue.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Except Mai Mihara may think differently about her being able to be a senior now.
Thank you, Rika, for coming in and fixing this.
Exactly.
What is Wakaba going to skate to? I want, like, some good...
I'm excited for her.
I'm excited. Power lesbian ballad. Like, I want, like...
With that triple axel, it is time.
Some Tracy Chapman triple axeling, like, all over the... Yes! Give me one reason to stay here! Triple axel.
That's like an octave too high for Tracy Chapman, by the way.
Give me one reason to stay here.
For some reason, I think that's not music that's going to come out of anywhere in Japan.
Wouldn't you love a program to Constant Craving? Like, come on, a Smart and Diaz free dance. Like,
no, Constant Craving they'd accidentally give to, like, some junior girl in Russia again. Like Black Velvet, or they'll give her all the inappropriate stuff. After Big Spender, I don't even know what's coming.
I'm ready for it. You know, yeah. I'm here for it. I'm ready.
Junior Grand Prix final, I'm less... inclined to keep up on like the actual Grand Prix events, but by the time we get to the Junior Grand Prix final, it's always an interesting competition. Yeah. So
I know we need something to root for. We have Gracie, who's like relearning a double axel. I mean, I think we're gonna keep. You know, that's all we have is that hope of her one day coming back.
Good in years. Yeah.
Apparently, Priscilla is like loading up with students, and she has a boy like practicing a quad loop and. You know, she's a teacher. I did think that Jason should go there if he didn't go to Brian. So,
although we do say Brian loosely.
Well, he's working with the whole team, so that's.
Yeah. Okay.
Although, did you watch Gabby Daleman doing a vlog for no reason? It was almost as bad as the Mirai and the.
Yeah. But like, could you going back to that Jason and like Brian Orser situation? Could you imagine if Marie France took Chalk and Bates and she was like, yeah, but I'm not really gonna, it's gonna kind of be a team effort, like I'm not
they do a team effort for everyone, but that's
everyone but a genuine effort. But like this was just such a statement in my opinion to like distance themselves. I don't know. I'm
still afraid that Rohina's gonna like come up at you and yell at you for like saying such things. Like, I think you should tread carefully, Jonathan.
At the core, I mean,
haven't you ever watched Drag Race? I mean, do not piss those queens off. You know, like, I don't...
Fair enough.
Any man that wears heels, I would just nod and be very respectful, okay? Like,
Back away slowly.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. There's too many. There are too many, like, hoop earrings to, like, stab you with, or stilettos. Like, I just... Back away, Jonathan.
Too many possible weapons. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. You know.
Point taken, Dave. Point taken.
I mean, you know, just he's a team effort. He's working with very talented people.
We see each other.
Remember Karen Preston? She was very talented.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my goodness! I saw her as Snow White in Disney on Ice. Not Linda. I saw Karen Preston.
I know, and remember Linda kept being like, "Who?"
I know, but like I wasn't actually sure when she was saying who, if she knew who Karen Preston was, because you know how skaters.
I didn't catch that it was the joke that there really was no one but Linda. Yeah, okay.
But like I didn't know if she knew Karen Preston. Remember when we were at Nationals and Paulina Edmonds didn't know who Linda was, so that was.
To be fair, I don't think Linda knew who Paulina was.
It became so. For those of you who don't know, Jonathan and I had some fun with Linda because some of the younger skaters didn't know who she was. We introduced her to people as Olympic silver medalist Rosalind Sumners, and Linda really appreciated that.
I kept saying she was because did she win 2 or 3 world championships?
She won 2, but you told everyone she won 1.
It's like, she only won 1, and she's like, I won 2, and I was like, I know, I'm just messing with you. Okay.
Oh, fun. Where is Linda? How's she doing?
I miss Linda Frediani. She's fun.
Oh, boy. Oh, how is she? Oh, man. Yeah.
It speaks to what Dick Button was speaking about at the 2014 Nationals, where he was like, I like the young skaters who are curious. In a world of YouTube, how have you not just like casually gone back and watched Olympic medalists ever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, you're not going to be as nerdy as some and like remember what 75, world championships that final group looked like. But like, you should know you should know your Olympic
You should be watching like Dick and Peggy in 88 and 89. Like if you don't know who Jerry Campbell is, you need to invest, okay? You need to know the Lauren Sheehan designs and just look at what you could have been skating in back in the day.
Oh, your heritage. Be curious. Just be curious. Like you were even saying about the ice dance teams. Like self-motivate. Go to theater. Go to opera. Go to ballet. Do all this sort of stuff. Same thing. In a world of YouTube, there is no reason you haven't seen like everyone that has come before you.
Speaking of teams, did you see that your pair team was doing a program with Charlie White? I feel like we don't know how Charlie is as a choreographer because we only saw like one program performed once from Vincent Zoe.
Are you talking about Vincent Morgan? Who are you talking about?
Yeah, I think they were.
I can see that post.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how Charlie is as a choreographer, but that's interesting. I see him more coaching personality, but
or was it exhibition?
It looked to be like they were getting like programs done.
Okay.
And Karen Chen is going to skate to Fire Dance, but Charlie White doing choreography. And I was thinking today, I was starting to be like, well, this person's not going to compete. Jonathan, is your team going to be favorites to win the world title against like the panty droppers? Is that going to be a head-to-head matchup? Like, is no? Yes? No? Are they like no? What? Yes?
Maybe they're probably.
Oh wait, Sway in Hand did not compete at the last.
Yes. China, all of China will be
all of China, but she has to learn the second triple jump. She has to learn, well, especially now with the under rotations.
Tough.
Her triple Salchow is sometimes not up to snuff.
Right.
No, at least they're not reducing it to a double because that would really be rough for her if she had when they got rid of Rachel Flatt at the Olympics.
+5 GOE. I'm sorry, everything they do can have all the pluses.
Okay, so we can still give Vanessa and Morgan a nice silver at the Worlds, right?
Would be great for them.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he wears some tight pants, maybe we could see about inflating some of their grades of execution.
Exactly. Now it feels grosser to say +5. Sorry. Okay. But you know what? I'm just going to be super bold and weird. And we don't know where Alexa and Chris, they may be right back in that top 6 running again.
Well, with Aliona willing to do anything, I would do anything she said. I would be so afraid of her. Speaking of, let me tell you something, Jonathan.
Oh, headphones are coming out.
Entertain people for 20 seconds, okay? Sing, Jonathan. Do some scales.
So there goes Dave, and it's just me. I don't feel uncomfortable at all. Just on the screen. Oh, here it comes.
So this is not product placement, but I just want to say what I bought because it looks amazing. And I will only buy something if I think that it looks really good because I'm a bitch. But anyway, Liam Cross, who's Aliona's long-suffering husband, has to be saint. How amazing does this look?
Tilted because I just see your light. Yeah, there you go.
See it? That's going to be in looking like real art. So I did send him one. He's working on a Tessa and Scott one, but he hasn't colored it yet. So all of the Tessa and Scott, how should we call this?
Super
freakishly intense super fans, you know who you are, who would be like, how dare you have the French? She doesn't even skate on edges. Please tell him to finish coloring so we can buy it. He's already pencil sketching something else. Get to the coloring so that we can buy it. Okay?
Send him the markers.
And then also the picture that I really want of Aliona, because I only want really A-list people. And I would like a Gordieva and Grinkoff one in their Moonlight Sonata outfits when they're standing in their opening pose. Tell him to get working on that, please. I can artistic direct to make him a lot of money. He just needs to listen, okay? He needs another bossy woman in his life. Aliona, please tell your husband that the one of you doing the helix should not be a pencil sketch with like a background color. And he's like, no, but it's done in ink. I'm like, who gives a fuck? I want color, okay? I want color, and I don't care, okay? Like, you might think you're the artist, but like, that doesn't look well on my walls. I don't want someone to be like, who is that?
Decor. Fit my decor.
Fit my decor. I would like them standing in the helix colored together, okay? And I asked myself...
Is he our generation's Tyler Cranston of figure skating art in everyone's home?
Better, okay? We need to make him so famous in his art, okay? I mean, don't you want to have Papadoc? I mean, you know that he's just going to be making Hanyu ones and just selling it to all of Japan. But come on, do a Tessa and Scott one for us. Do it.
Right. That's right.
Also, I have a friend so funny. People are getting very tired of the suicide and very angry of it. And I have a friend that just texted me, Christopher McCluskey, hi. He just goes, Anthony Bourdain was an over-salter. I mean, that is...
Mom, this just took a turn.
It took a turn. You know, the things we get texted sometimes, you know. Boy. Oh my God. Also, do you know where I'm going next weekend?
No.
Not Oklahoma.
Oh.
I'm going to Athens. Suzanne is turning 65 and is throwing herself like...
Hey, can you say Athens, Georgia, please?
Athens, Georgia, yes.
I was like, beautiful, Dave. It's going to be so... Oh, okay.
Also going to be beautiful because Suzanne may have like a painting of herself that's like legendary in her room that's like may or may not be fully clothed that like we really need to take a picture with. Like, I think, yeah.
I once attended, since we're just sharing stories.
Apparently it's what rich people do. I didn't know this, so, you know.
I went to a dinner party at a very wealthy woman's house, and the entire, like, fresco of the dining room was, like, her, like, nude. Like, in this, like, kind of, like, Grecian, like, or, like, Birth of Venus, like, kind of. And I kept being like, oh, my gosh, this is so weird.
Like, that's amazing. Like, how do you talk about anything else during dinner? Like,
other than the fact that we're eating under like a nude portrait of yourself.
I'm eating under your left breast. Like, how do we
like
past the thighs? You know? Like,
oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we're gonna have a lot to discuss. Hopefully next week we can discuss this 20 years from Nagano because Anisina and Bezara are skating together again. I wonder if they're gonna bring out like Romeo and Juliet. Like, that was such a moment. Can she?
Or did they? Yeah, I don't know. Now it has to be like the parents of Romeo and Juliet. They're going to be like from the side of Juliet's parents.
Juliet's mother.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, can you believe Nagano was 20 years ago?
Also, our Japanese friends, is it Nagano or Nagano? Like, how do we say it? We know
I remember from the broadcasts, like a CBS kind of ingrained Nagano.
And I'm sure it was wrong.
Yeah, it very well could have been. They never even knew if they were saying Chen Lu or Lu Chen. So.
I'm still confused. Should we say Unikim or Kim Yuna? Because NBC switched that on us. Like, she was Unikim for many years before she became Kim Yuna. So
right, exactly.
And both hashtags are like equal on.
Yeah, I would think. Or I think actually most people are probably tagging both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So confusing. I mean, look at the dilemmas that we have.
Life is so hard.
Life is hard.
It's hard to be a figure skating fan. Can I ask you a question? Again, since we're just FaceTiming and happen to be taping it for everyone. So I keep getting these email blasts from ICE Network about this new NBC pass.
NBC bought them or something. Yeah, but how much is it, Jonathan? Like, are we buying this?
And maybe people can clarify also below, like, ICE Network was saying was if you updated your billing information, because current billing information for ICE Network is good until June 30th of this year. And if you had updated your payment information by then, it could auto renew you and give you a discount.
Now, do you pay for it? Because about like 20 of us use the same account.
I don't know. I just paid for it. Like, it's like $50.
Like 20 of us use the same account, just out of principle.
No, I can't have my buffer be like being messed up. I gotta have my own account because I have my own Eurosport one too. But Eurosport really disappointed me when it wouldn't let me pick British commentary. I had to when I was in Germany. It had to be German commentary. But I'm intrigued what the NBC Pass is and if people are going to do it because I think it offered ICE Network subscribers like a discounted access to whatever the NBC Pass is. And is the NBC Pass truly just so I can watch the NBC broadcast from anywhere?
But don't we have the Olympic Channel? Do we still get to watch sectionals? Can we just buy it for that month? Like, what's going on? We need it for nationals, too. That's important.
I'm also traveling and don't actually have access to a television.
Well, Jonathan, not everyone is an opera singer who gets flown around the world first class, okay? I'm sorry about your champagne taste, Jonathan. Some of us are sitting on our ass on the couch watching skating like the good losers that we are, okay?
What if you have to be at some family party and you want to be kind of like just streaming a little bit, but it's on NBC? And like, can you do that like with this NBC Pass? I'm curious.
How do you do that? Because you always have to talk to that relative who you really don't care about. But like, you would really rather know how Aliona is skating in real time. Like, even though family time is precious,
right?
You can't get it back. You also can't get back the excitement of watching something live. You know,
and it's going to be hard to find on YouTube. So it's like
it's going to be so hard. They're going to take it down so quickly.
This is Patrick's short program. They'll never let this music.
What if they skate to Exogenesis like Jeremy did when they muted it for like 6 months? I mean,
exactly. I thought it was called Muse, not Mute. Maybe I should be mute. That's the problem. Okay.
No. Oh, man. People are going to love this show. This is great. We really covered a lot this week. We really did. How about Jenny? She's almost done bedazzling that one apron with the lemons.
Yeah. Some culinary advancements are happening there.
She's doing more of the sewing than the cooking this week, but I like both. I'm interested in both, but I feel like I want her to get back to the cooking. That's always interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
The time that she didn't know how to flip fish was so just. Look, we're learning on this journey with Jenny, and I thought that was my favorite, the fish. What was your favorite Jenny cooking moment? That was mine.
Brave.
Along with her sitting down in Walmart. Because she just had a moment. And I was like, I want to get in and out of Walmart. Like, that just...
Now, when you run the Skating Lesson Instagram page, do you do stories as well?
Once in a while. But, so often I'm, like, checking at work or in a spare moment, so...
So a lot of people, social media is a conversation in the interviews that we're doing with the contestants here. And they were like, and I do like to stay on Facebook, for the older people or for older generations. And I was like, I'm officially an older person because I'm like, I get Facebook, but sometimes Instagram stories confuse me.
Well, like sometimes Instagram stories are just dumb, but sometimes they're fascinating. So.
You just swipe across the top there that like it shows that you're watching those stories.
That's what I don't like.
I didn't know that because sometimes I'm not picking them. They pick them for me and I just keep sliding. So
I know, like you can't really keep tabs on your ex without a fake account now. Like that's what you really have to be doing. Like
I didn't know this was the case. Yeah, I was like, no wonder these random people keep showing up. I thought they were being like picked because they had like a top post, but it's because I accidentally keep looking at their stories.
I did Instagram stories once, and I wanted to see who is watching our videos from TSL. The answer was everyone. By the way, it was everyone. It was like everyone. I was like, oh, and you could see how far along they were going. Like John Coughlin was keeping tabs on us. Like he was looking at all of them. Yes.
So you can tell like if someone just watched it for a second.
You can tell like which of the things in your stories each person watched, and it tells you how many and.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's stalkery. That's a bit.
I loved it. I kind of do love it. Like
I feel like I have to go look at stories with.
No, what you need to do is start making stories so you can see who's stalking you.
I know, but each time like you hit it and it's like the camera's coming from below and I'm like, you're so hideous, you cannot
just put a you could put a still image there too. And people will still look, Jonathan.
Okay.
You want to know who's stalking you because if someone's not hitting like but they're looking at your stuff, you can't tell in the same way.
I'm learning so much. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll try it.
Also, if you want to know who wants to sleep with you, post a detox photo of like a before and after because everyone will start messaging you and it's always the same people. Or like I rarely ever post a beach photo or anything. Like I'm just not that like.
But you accomplished on that cleanse was very impressive.
Well, thank you. My goal is to keep going, but I'm doing a lot of yoga and I think I might want to do a little skating.
Good for you. It's been a while, yeah?
Not like competitively, but just like for fun, you know.
Okay.
Hold an
Okay.
edge and look sexy in my 30 seconds of time. I'm gonna do some spirals and some double sow cows.
Some lunges.
No
Okay.
spinning. No spinning. But I would, yeah. So but you will get such messages from people, Jonathan, and you just have to laugh to yourself at some of the people that will like come out of the woodwork. You just,
Nice.
oh,
Amazing.
it's good.
Talk
It's-
after.
we'll talk offline, all right? Well, who do
On that
you,
note.
what has been your most fun social media thing about who's looking at your videos? What would you do in your 30 seconds? What should Alexa and Chris be skating to this season? And what would you like us to discuss next week on the skating lesson? Because we're having a lot of fun. Hold an edge and look sexy. Bye, guys.